Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about how to identify what kind of fabric you're looking at and how it is constructed, because this is something you need to know before you do a lot of mending. The basic fabric types are animal furs and leathers, felt, woven, knitted, and then there's things like crochet and lacework, but those are kind of an edge case, so we're not going to deal with those. Right. Let's talk with the most basic of fabric. You can really call it that. Leather and fur, it's a subset of that. So leather is animal hide. It may be stitched in places. It is not woven. It's not really constructed. It is grown. So it is a surface that is all one piece. There may be hair on one side. There may not, depending on what you've got. This is just a rabbit skin here. And so depending on the animal, the thickness of the leather will vary. If you are patching fur or leather, you will always want to also use fur or leather, something similar. Felt is what happens when you take a bunch of fibers and agitate them until the fibers stick together. This is most commonly done with wool, but some synthetic fibers will also behave the same way. Animal furs are such as yak, goat, and others will also have this behavior. Now, this is something that is not actually woven of threads. This is just fibers stuck together. It's very sturdy. It has basically no stretch. And another thing about it is it's also windproof. Felt was actually used by Mongols way back in the day to make the walls of their yurts. And it's still used today to make hats and mittens sometimes. Let's talk about the two most common, woven and knitting. I'm going to start with woven fabric. Woven fabric is very sturdy. Okay, so this bag is woven. If you look closely, you'll see that there is sort of grid here. One way is the warp, one is the weft, and the threads go over, under, over, under. Woven fabrics tend to be very sturdy. Your jeans and towels and a lot of other things that should not stretch will be made out of this. It will generally unravel if you cut a seam. If you want things to fray, then go for it. But if I were to cut this, then the threads would start to unravel immediately. Sometimes it's hard to see if something is woven or not because of the texture, but check to see if it's stretchy, and then turn it over and look on the other side to see if you can see that woven structure. Now sometimes there will be other patterns, like a twill in your woven fabric. So this is what happens when you go over and under multiple threads at a time. You can make patterns like this slanted line, and a lot of pants and sturdy shirts will be made out of this kind of construction. Now, I said that there's not a lot of stretch in woven, and that is generally true, but nowadays some jeans, well, they are woven, they're made with spandex as part of their fiber, and so they will stretch, which will make things a little bit more complicated when you try to patch them. But generally, if you are mending something that is woven, you're going to patch it, weave it with something that is also woven and has the same amount of stretch. And also pay attention to the edges, because as you can see here, they will unravel the thread, which means that the threads will come off, and all of the threads will go from fabric to being separate threads. Knitting. Knitwear. You might have heard the term knitwear. The reason it is called knitwear is because the technique used to make it is called knitting, and it is characterized by these little V's, which are, I'm going to show you a hand knitted item here, where it's a little bit easier to see the V's in the basic construction of this. So one side, this will have the V's like that of the knitwear. Another side will have these bumps. That's the purl side. Often, if you're looking at a knitted sweater or something, there will be cables or other patterns. Knitwear tends to be quite stretchy. It is often warm, and sweatshirts, like what I'm wearing here, t-shirts, are good examples of knitwear. They're generally not as sturdy as woven items, but the upside to knitwear is that it's very comfortable and soft, and that can be really nice. Whether or not it will unravel when you cut it depends on the fabric type. T-shirts will not unravel for whatever reason, maybe because the thread is so small, but something like sweatpants will almost certainly unravel if you cut it. I hope you found that interesting. That is a basic introduction to different types of fabric, which is going to be very relevant with some of the projects that I'm going to be showing you in the near future. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more of these projects I'm talking about, like and subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And if you'd like to know more about any of the fabric types that I showed you, for instance, do you want me to show you how to make felt? Do you want me to show you how to knit or weave? That is all things that I can do and would be happy to show you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Make, Mend, Grow. See you next time.